Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Colbeck.
And you guys, I want to say this. So things we hear that you heard from all 50 states, these are the things people need to hear. Like if you're in California, Shasta County, where they went machine free. It spread through California, and they were brave. Oh, yeah, here we go.
I need to.
All right, so what we're going to call, is this mic on?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so what I was telling you, so now I'm going to follow before Patrick goes through the Election Crime Bureau. I'm going to tell you, so here we have a way now to monitor the biggest lie. They're not online. But we have a tool now. We have thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people on the ground doing what they've been doing for 2.5 years, reporting the crime. And it all comes back to now the person sitting at home, and they're going to spread the news about that crime. But there's another piece, and this piece has been worked on. We've been going, and they're thinking siloing it out. The Election Crime Bureau. This is what we've done now. This organization. Well, what do we do with all that crime that's coming in? And Patrick's going to tell you about that now. Of this other tool we have that. So you know where this is going, and you know then that we're dispersing out. What needs to go to lawsuits? What needs to go to help people on the ground? What needs to go for a sales pitch to your county clerk? Go ahead.
All right, well, now the key is how do you convert that plan into action? It's really what it comes down to. So you need a persistent organization. The bad guys have hundreds and hundreds of organizations that are committed 24/7, 365 to making sure you don't have any freedom anymore, that they can steal the elections away from us. We need organizations that are equally equipped. It's got to be persistent. We can't just simply show up 3 months before the election, try to figure out who's running for office, and then say, hey, maybe I'll be a poll worker this time. Nope. The days of the easy button are long gone. If you want to keep our freedom, it takes eternal vigilance, and you got to put effort into it. And that's what Mike is setting up here with this Election Crime Bureau. It's providing a persistent organization. We can't have a moment of truth summit every single year. We can't afford to go off and do this election summit every single year. We need to make this a part of our daily lives. All right? So let's go through. And I want to make sure everything that's been done with all the different resources that we're putting out at your disposal, it takes an organization to make it work effectively. And
hey,
so,
before we get into that, because I didn't say at the end, now that you all know what plan you're watching at home, and this is a shout out to anyone that wants to put any money into anything, whether it's a candidate, whatever you want to do to help save our country. Here's what you need to do. The Lindell OffenseFund.org. There's a way to put checks on there, everything. You want to get a hold of me directly? If it's a big, big donation, I'll come out and say, hey, we need your help. We need the help. With this thing, what we're telling you now about the Election Crime Bureau, that takes money, and that's what runs everything. The lawyers I have hired, the cyber people I have hired, everything that I've been paying out of my pocket, everything. I mean, every person that you see out there, most all of them have come from where I have put it out, and I need your help now. The Lindell Offense Fund. We're always on the offense. And I want to say one more time, this isn't for my big billion-dollar lawsuits with these criminals. You know, those are over here. That's cost me tens of millions already.
all this money is going towards helping you and helping all Americans
save this
to finally
country.
expose this garbage that we've been exposed to for years upon years. It's about time we got back into the fight, and this is how we're going to go off and do it. So in addition to being an aerospace engineer, former senator, I'm also a former management consultant, so I think in PowerPoint, which is an illness that I'm trying to recover from, but you're going to go through a lot of the information that describes how this organization is intended to run.
Patrick and I argue. I go, I don't need a PowerPoint. Yes, you do.
Yeah, right. And by the way, we're working on some graphics around defining exactly what the plan is so everybody can share it with everyone, because the media is going to try to define what it is, and we want to make sure that you guys have a
I believe them. What do you all think? How many think that the media is going to go completely silent after this event? Okay. You know, because I can't think. I tried to think, how are they going to say they didn't lie? I mean, it's going to be pretty amazing.
Well, this may be why they go silent, because now we're going to go into management consultant org charts.
Right.
So
this is my organization here now that we set up the Election Crime Bureau. So you see at the top, and Patrick will go through it now. This is where all the real-time crime reports and everything come to. When we have those groups out in the field that need help, like Defend Florida, this is the hub now that runs the engine, where at the top there, when I'm sitting there and I'm hearing from all these divisions and getting reports and setting this up, go do, help these guys, help these guys, help these guys. And right?
Yep. Yeah, this is the lay of the land. So up at the top of the helm, obviously, we got somebody named Director here, and he's been directing us since the beginning on all these activities. And now we're putting it all together and providing all the structure that we need to be effective at everything that we're talking about doing. So it's basically 4 different operational units. We've got an election.
I want to say something quick. When you just said that, I've been so busy doing that. You guys, just think if I wouldn't have invented my pillow. I don't get much sleep, but when I do, it's quality.
I definitely haven't gotten much sleep lately. So we've got the election crime unit. That's a primary, action threat, if you will, associated with how we go off and monitor exactly what they're going off and doing in the elections. Then we have a communications unit. And you've seen some of the facets. We'll go into each one of these a little bit more detail in a little bit. And a financial unit, which is very, very important because, we're literally being outspent by Zuck bucks to the tune of billions of dollars to none, in many cases. While we're scrambling and rubbing pennies together to get $3,000 for FOIA. Right? Well, yeah. But
I mean, Mike is.
But I mean, across the board, there's all these grassroots groups that are out here are facing that challenge as well. I mean, when they're going off and saying it's going to cost you $7,000 to get a list of voters, I mean, right. I don't know about how many of you guys have that sitting around in your wallet, but I don't. So so this is really, when you're talking about...
You guys know how much it cost me to put on this event? $1 million, and I borrowed it. That's how important this is. I'm serious, you guys.
This is a bit... this is for all the marbles, folks.
This is it.
And so... we need your help supporting this, and then the continued operations, obviously. And one of the reasons I had struggled in politics was I didn't know how to ask for money. So, we're going to be asking for money.
But it's there. We have to now.
We have to. And so then the last is the operations unit. So that's the back office. That's stuff every organization deals with.
Right. And before Patrick goes on, there's names behind all this, and we're not putting them up there for a lot of reasons. I'm sure you all know. Okay, I don't mind my name being up there. You can see that director. That would normally be my picture. They already know me. A lot of these people, there's lawyers up there. They don't want their name. Why? Because look at all the other things that have been attacked. Look at the greatest lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, with what's happened to him just this week. So
we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive in each. I want you to understand. I mean, the key takeaway on this is not that I know how to use smart shapes in PowerPoint. The key takeaway on this is that we put a lot of thought into how this is going to operate. We got a lot of thought into how to make this idea of the plan turn into something that can last not just for one election cycle, but in perpetuity. All right? So this is not something that is intended to be we presented at the summit and then we're done. No, this is something we want persistent.
But before he says that again, I got to say, because you're sparking my mind here. Everybody going, what is the end game we all want? I just want you to, the end game we all want is paper ballots, hand counted, same day voting, precinct level, signature required. Amen, huh? That's what we have to have, period. So if this plan will get us there, but in the meantime, now we have the biggest tool to use because of they've been stopping us, or at least holding back everything, right? Holding us back because they fail it in 2024. If they can push it by there, our country's gone. Okay. This gives us the tools to get to that beautiful place we need to be. And by this fall, the way it's laid out now, it's on God's time. This is beautiful because I'll tell you what, In 2024, it's going to be a pretty amazing election when we have paper ballots hand counted and no machines.
All right, so now we're going to go deep dive into the business model. And this diagram here, for anybody who's never seen one before, I call it a SIPOC model, or otherwise known as a technical term as Gazinda-Gazada model. All right? So it's just talking about we as an election crime bureau, who are we connecting with? We're talking to partners like Raj. We're talking with Cause of America. We're obviously talking to donors, advisors, but we also want to make sure that the information that we're collecting here is going out to law enforcement, and it's going out to prosecutors, and it's going out to the media. And if they won't put it out, we'll go around the media. All right, so that's the core operation for the Election Crime Bureau. And I want to drill down into specifically the Election Crime Unit branch. We got 3 different areas of expertise there. One's a cyber unit, and you're seeing some of the aspects of that today with the WMD that was released today, the wireless monitoring device, all right? We've also got a legal unit. Yeah, go ahead, yeah. Thank you, Vanna. Yeah, that's right. And then we got a legislative unit talking about model legislation and pulling that together for everybody and providing guidance and policy advisory for that. So there's the Gazinda-Gazada for the election crime unit. So next is financial unit activities, and as you can tell, this is a very important part. And don't forget the Lindell Offense Fund, and just share it with your friends and family.
The Lindell Offense Fund funds the Election Crime Bureau. It funds it all. This is the only thing. And there was before it was me, and now I need your help. Okay. When you go back one slide. I want to tell everybody this. You see these slides here on those units. Where's the units? You had 3 things up to the unit. When you see the cyber unit, those are teams of people. You've heard some of their names. A lot of them don't want to get their names out there. I mean, you've seen Dr. Frank and Jeff O'Donnell here. They're out there. There's guys out there, and they keep getting attacked. But there's a team behind that unit, right, that you don't even know about. You've never heard their names. And then same way, that legal unit. You've got Kurt Olson. Everybody knows who he is, but there's a lot of lawyers behind there, too, that are getting paid that are part of that team that you don't know, okay? And then you get over here, the legislative unit. Those are not just people, but those are teams of people that know legislature that are going out there, and we're finding out where we can go, where the breakthroughs are be. From now on, we're going to have doors that open, like the prayer that we pray to God, open doors that no man can shut, and shut doors that no man can open.
So the Election Crime Unit is kind of the main hub. When we're starting to talk about everything we're talking about the Election Crime Bureau, that's kind of one of the key areas. But let's get into the financial unit just a bit. So this is fundraising, and it's not just for the operations here. It's for as we get above, and we get into the point where we can actually support broader activities, the goal is to help support a lot of other folks and a robust set of needs that you are going to help define.
Here's what you have. I told you a little while ago about, in fact, I don't know if we have the website up.
I got screenshots, yeah.
Oh, you got a screenshot?
And the donation.
Okay, all right, we're going to show you that in a minute. As we get through this, I want to show you, because remember I told you about my foundation website. This is the back end of that you're going to see in a minute, so go ahead.
So, and this is it, to the point. Okay. So go to Lindell Office one.
Okay, so if you go, this is the crime bureau there. Now, when you went to needs, click on needs. Okay.
I can't.
Oh, you can't. All right. Okay. Let's pretend we were on the website, and you can all go there. You can go to the website, and if you click needs, what we're going to have right now, you see one need, Lindell Offense Fund, right? But what we're going to have is just like I told you when I had around the world. Yeah, there's an example. But I'm going to go back. When I had around the world, and I had 105 countries, and it would come up this thing to tell you what the need was. We had videos, of telling. It was the backstory of what that need was, right? And then we did it in the country, like I say in Detroit. They might have needed this over here on the west side of Detroit, needed this park fund, whatever it was. Well, now what you're going to see up in the election crime, you're going to see needs, micro needs like this. needs where you'll see money raised, goal, Antrim County wireless connection monitor. Once again, if we have these up there, when we do put these out there, so you can have one in your own county or own thing. Before today, I wasn't going to do that because the media go, you know what, Mike Lindell's trying to sell a device. And then I thought today, is that so bad? I'm not making money on them.
Yeah.
I'm not making money. I want to get them out there, but I can't afford to get them out there. So we will probably have up there each county, if you want them in your county, you can go there and click and help get one of these.
So the bottom line is you can help.
In fact, I just decided that's what we're going to do.
So you can, just to clarify, you can give overall to the Lindell Offense Fund, and that's what we're asking for you to do right now.
Because that's what you're right. And then we'll have micro needs up there. Right now, the Lindell Offense Fund, we've got to get enough to get these in every single parish in Louisiana, Mississippi, Kentucky, the big elections this fall. So that's what we need for that. That's immediate. And that is absolutely immediate. And because we're making these as we speak. But they, you guys, there's a lot that goes into one of these, right? And
by the way, the only reason these are sample right now is we go through an actual approval process for each of these needs.
That's right.
This isn't
Right. So, and where are these needs coming from? Let me tell you where they're coming from. These are real needs. They're coming from the cause of America. So they're out there. They know your area. They know you have a cause of America in every single state, every single county. So you'll have that. So where you'll be able to, if you have needs, we're going to know about it in your county. And believe me, the needs we're talking about are not for other. We need a homeless shelter over here. I'm sorry. This is money that's needed to secure our elections today. That's it. Because everything that manifests from those elections, and we need to have elections, not selections. So every need that's up there is going to help save our country and secure our elections. That's it. You can trust me on that. It's not going to be going to save the whales. I'm sorry, it can't. Period. I know they're all great needs out there, but they're the biggest need we have is to secure our elections and save our country. Then you can worry about all that stuff later.
And you guys have heard a lot about the importance of Cause of America, especially over the last few minutes, right? Well, Cause of America is one of the ways that we're going to use to actually screen some of these needs.
Well, screen them all. Right. That's where they're coming in from. Because the other groups too, it all comes in this umbrella. So we get it. We look at the need, and they'll be putting these up, these GoFundMes, whatever, and whatever that is. And by the way, when they get up there, and let's say the needs met early, then it goes into the general fund. We'll tell you all that. The lawyers got to put up all this legal stuff, right? So, which always bugs me. It always moves too slow for me.
So Cause America is going to help do the vetting, too, as well. So, guys, we need these ground troops, not just at election time, but all year round. And we know there's lawsuits that are going on. People need to be defended. These lawyers that are being attacked need to be defended. This is how you can help out. Right now, though, please focus on Lindell Offense Fund. Really, we got to...
trust me, every one of these is going on right now. And can you imagine if... these needs come in, and I've had to, for the first time, it started this spring, where I've had to turn down people. I'm going, this is so important. But I couldn't find other people even to help out, to put money into it and say, call me up, Mike, we need an attorney. I said, we can't afford one. Or we need a cyber guy. And I'm on my cyber guys, I don't have they're spread out, their work, and they can't, and I don't have enough to bring on other ones to pay. This is where we're at, everybody. So
what's really powerful, I think, is that, guys, you're actually funding an organization that's been well thought out. You're funding
it's already ongoing. Not thought out, ongoing. We've been doing it for 2.5 years.
So, guys, this is real stuff. There's a lot of effort and time that's been put into this. And right now we're kind of in the mode where at the end of the rope, we need your assistance to step in and get other people that are likewise interested in the security of our country.
Let me tell you what you all can do. You can, everybody watching from home. You all know if you're in the RNC or you're out there and you're your Republican campaigns, or for that matter, you're out there and you're a Democrat. Go to your big donors so we have fair elections, and have the donors donate to that fund. and fill it up, every single person. I don't care who it is. You want to secure our elections, that's what we have to have. And it don't matter if you got someone out there that puts in all these candidates. They're the ones that have the most money to lose. Why? Because they're dumping money into a flush toilet. You know, your candidate, doesn't matter how good how much he campaigns. It doesn't matter how much money you pour into him. Does everybody understand that? It doesn't matter how much money you spend to campaign anymore when it's already written out there for you what the election outcome is. The evil knows the outcome. It doesn't matter how much money you waste. In fact, they probably enjoy that.
Yeah.
They probably do. You don't think all those networks, those TV networks, the TV money that goes in there, you think the TV, think of those guys. Let's think of Fox News and CNN and all those those campaign ads that they get that make My Pillow ads cost more. And you're just flushing money down the toilet, giving money to these big outfits for campaign money to go spend money on TV when they were going to win all along. But because a machine stole it from our American dream, flush the toilet. Right. So I'm telling you now, is everybody, you want to save our country, you put money into the Lindell Legal or the Lindell Offense Fund.org. And I'm going to have anybody out there that, you know what, I want to tell everybody. I started doing donor events about 2 years ago. I did 2 of them or 3 of them. You know, now I didn't raise a dime at those ones, 5,000, whatever it was. I did another one where I reached out to individuals, and there's people that have helped. I can count them on one hand. One of them's here, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but one of them's here, where it was a big amount. One hand I can count on, because here's what I believe. People want to help, but they couldn't wrap their head around, Mike Lindell, he just wants to get rid of all the machines, and that's such an impossibility. I'd be wasting my money. He's such a good fighter, and he's out there every day and spending his fortune. Or maybe we think Mike Lindell's got enough money, and he could just go until he's buried. And that's a good, you know what? Both of them are probably good arguments if I'm out there going, well, Mike's got enough money, and you know what? He'll never be able to get rid of the machines. That's nobody will, it's an impossible task. Well, I'm here to tell you, now you've seen the plan, it's not so impossible, is it? God gave us this plan, and with God, all things are possible. And now I would hope that that all those people across this country that want to save our country know where to put the money. They know where to put it, because I am promising you with every sales pitch I've ever done, this is it. You don't get to sit back, and we talk about courage being contagious. We have the people that have courage, everybody. They're in this room. There's hundreds of thousands of them out there. Most of them have quit their jobs and volunteering. They're trying to save their country. They've whole lives, you've seen yesterday, devoted. They spend 12, 18 hours a day trying to get someone to listen, a judge to listen, or their county clerk to listen. We've been taken over by these computers. 51 countries, 52, Brazil being the last one, have lost their freedoms forever because of these computers. And we get one shot to save our country, and for that matter, save the world. And this is where you need to put your money right now. Every dime you can spare, the Lindell League or the Lindell Office Fund.org. It needs to support all the people that are out there right now doing the work. There's people out there, do you know what I do? I have borrowed money so many times where I didn't have it to give money to people that didn't have the money. One of them is on this stage right now. He spent every dime he has, and I borrowed money last week to give him money so he could come here and do all the work he's been doing.
Yeah, this guy, Mike's heart is all in. I've never asked this man for a dime. Yet after every single time we go off and volunteer and provide help, he always provides the financial help. So, because guys, he's got a heart of gold. You guys know it. Many of you have sacrificially given to come here to this event yourself. Now we need to share this word out to as many people as possible. And, many hands make light work. I always talk about one of the ways you can go off and take back our country and restore the voice of the people is that with some simple mathematics. You know that, big donors obviously have been very frustrating. They're not contributing as much as we'd like them to see, but we want them to contribute. But you know what? 10,000 $10 donations equals 10 $10,000 donations, right? So you may not have a lot of money, but you know what? It's the same amount of money. And if you have that mindset, you know, you just donated $10 per month for an election cycle. That's $2.4 million.
It's for our country. This isn't about a candidate anymore.
And we outnumber the bad guys, and it's about time we let them know it with our pocketbook and with our voice. And the key on getting it out with our voice is one other aspect of the Election Crime Bureau organization that Mike's been laying the groundwork sacrificially on for years, and that deals with the communications unit. I mean, Frank speech, what do you think that is? That's a way to go around the media and provide communications directly to people.
That's why I built that.
Frank Social.
That cost me almost $12 million, and it was a burn rate of $1 million a month.
Cause of America.
I'll tell you one thing. I would have flown every one of you here, and you know that if you go back a couple of years when I had the money to do it. But this has been, why do you think they came after me and sued me? It ain't the $8 billion. It's the tens of millions of dollars I'm paying on lawyers and everything else to fight that. That's a big distraction for me. I don't even care about that. You think I care about losing $8 billion 2 years from now? I ain't going to lose that. It's all a facade. It's all a distraction and a big lie. Every one of those indictments for our great real President Donald Trump, every lawfare lawsuit in this country, when you get past if we get past the 2024 election, oh yeah, you all win. All of us would win. But then we've lost our country. So isn't this the plan, the perfect timing in history, everybody? We've got all the tools now.
So don't underestimate the power of this communications unit and the fact that we've already put all the effort into developing these assets. They're there. They're there for the taking. And now it's a matter of everybody using it. And one of the key things I want to remind you everybody of, in the Frank Social app, if you go into your profile area, there's a little link, and you can share that link with everybody on Twitter, on all the other social media networks. Take advantage of that, because that'll plug them into social media, and that'll expand the effectiveness of this communications unit. Imagine going around all this censorship. I don't know about you. I'm sick and tired of being censored. I'm censored by Amazon. I can't advertise my book on there. I'm censored by PayPal. I'm censored by LinkedIn. I was censored by Twitter. Now it seems to be a little bit better.
You know, Patrick, too, you guys, so on Frank Social, with that over there, you're also, it's a sister over there to Frank's speech, where I have Lindell TV. We have a lineup. You've heard the Emerald Robinson, Brandon House, we got Steve Bannon, all these lineups of people. That a lot of the focus, or most of the focus, is on what? Election crime. Okay, stuff you're not going to see on Fox News, on Newsmax, or Salem Media. They're not going to talk to you about what's going on, the positives, right? So one of the things is, what you're going to see when we demo Frank's speech is those clips that we're going to put over there, they're also going to be over on Frank's Social, where you can just pick it and just share that out. So we're sharing out, just like the summit. One of the things, and we're going to have calls to action I'm going to do later in the day. Later in the day here, I'm going to give you calls to action. Some I haven't even told you yet, because they're still working on two things that I thought of in the back. I go, wow. And this is a way tomorrow morning. I said to you all, wonder what the evil's going to do. Are they going to go silent on us, or are they going to go into attack mode? Okay, it's going to be one or the other. But I have a way tomorrow. You know, with the part where they go silent, that's the part actually that scares me the most, I'm telling you. Going silent. Okay? Because we need this plan, everyone in the country to know that we have a plan, that this plan's there. But I have a plan on a call to action I'm going to tell you later today that's going to solve that for tomorrow morning. Trust me. And all of you will be involved in that. And it's very easy. You can do it from the comfort of your own easy chair tonight.
And as we start getting more and more media folks that realize that what we're talking about is true, and they frankly can benefit financially by getting the word out, because then they won't suffer the same fate as places like Fox when they get rid of folks like Lou Dobbs or Tucker Carlson, right? When they start waking up to the fact that what we're talking about is important to their viewers, we're going to make sure that we have another mechanism to amplify your voice. So this communications unit is very powerful. We've got organizations like Turning Point, et cetera, that are all working and rowing in the same direction with everything that we're doing.
Now, by the way, everybody, I told you there were 15 people that knew. I flew out to Turning Point and met with Charlie Kirk and Tyler Baller, and they when I told them, they were going, wow. and I couldn't get to everyone before this. It's like My Pillow. When you have My Pillow, if a radio host tries it, now they believe in it. They're selling it from the heart. Well, everyone I had told, including General Flynn and everyone, I wanted them, what do you think of this? And from the heart, they're going, this is it. This is it. This works. We got them in the biggest lie that was ever told to us, the lie that blocked us getting through those doors we needed to get through.
Mind you, it's not their only lie, but it's the one that we can demonstrate with the resources we put out right now. And so, anyway, so we've also got Cause of America. That's kind of like our grassroots communication effort. I mean, we've got calls every single Monday night that are going on right now, and you get to be kept up to date.
By the way, they have employees, a lot of them. I've been paying them for 2.5 years. That's out of my pocket.
Yep. And then don't forget, we got the Frank Speech platform. So he's actually got 3 live stream broadcasts. And all these other podcasters that we've seen out here with folks like Emerald Robinson and Joe Altman, you're going to hear from a little bit later. So guys, and Steve Bannon and all the folks you guys know, they're all out there with a whole, and Sharona, and we've got podcasts.
These were put on there. Well, those are Lindell TV 1 and 2, but all these podcasts we put on, these are people that lost their homes way back on January 7th and 8th when they were deplatformed. Remember? Then they tried to turn out our lights forever. They were deplatformed on Vimeo, Evil YouTube, and all those other platforms. Yep. Did I say? It's amazing, by the way. I'll say something about YouTube. RSBN's been live streaming this, and I still can't believe YouTube hasn't took it down. That's a little mini miracle, I'm telling you, everybody. Somebody dropped the ball, and it's too late now if they've already seen the plan, right?
I feel a little bit like I'm in the land of misfit toys, from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But I'll tell you, it's a home, and there's a promise around that, and I'm confident that the pit that they dug for us, they're going to fall into, and everything's going to be turning out just fine, guys. All right, so operations, because everybody loves talking about back office operations, so we still have accounting, HR, IT, and legal, and I'm just going to fly through that quick. But here's kind of the information technology suite. So when we're talking about IT, just want to give you a quick overview of how some of these tools are working together with one another. I mean, Mike's had a lot of foresight on it. It's almost like he's had some divine inspiration and guidance on this to go off and put the tools together beforehand.
Just on Frank's speech, every came along in perfect timing. You know why? We know why I made Frank's speech. This was the spring of 2021. When I came out from January 9th, the evidence and the famous picture at the White House running around with martial law papers, just a little bit of thing after January 6th, right? So they go in, and the media, they attacked every vendor I had. They attacked I had 2 things overseas. They attacked them. They attacked everything you could attack day by day by day. But what did I do? I kept going, hey, did you hear about China? Did you hear about these machines? Did you hear about me? Mike, you lost 4 more retailers today. Did you hear about the machines? The bad media attacking me, I was able to get the word out. I didn't care how much I got attacked. I didn't care how far it went down, because I had seen that this was these machines. It wasn't about one election now. It was over, and it was so critical. But I will say this: if you look up there, does everybody remember on Newsmax? It's very famous. On February 4th of 2021, I went on Newsmax, and there were 2 reporters, and My Pillow had just lost the Twitter, which was historical. But let me give you a little background about that. The media didn't attack me for like 2 days. It got as we streamed into February. So like 2 days they didn't attack me. So I'm going, I got to get this back in the news. I'm being ignored, right? So I go, I'm laying in bed, and I go, it's like 11:30 at night. And remember, I had already lost my personal Twitter, and I'm going, maybe if I get I lose My Pillow's Twitter, that would make worldwide news, right? And I'm sitting there, so I'm getting on Twitter, and I go, this is what at Jack Dorsey, this is what at Jack did to me to take my Twitter down. Or my personal Twitter. The last post ever was my Lindell recovery director that wrote this beautiful thing about me about my past. And anyway.
Well, guys, there's a lot. I'll give you.
Let me finish this.
Yeah.
And and I just think of that letter. And anyway, so she writes this. So I'm laying in bed, and they didn't take it down, right? And I put up another post, and now it gets to be like midnight. I'm going, I got to get up in the morning. I got to get to bed. And I'm going, finally I said, @Jack, we know you were in on this crime, this election crime. We know you were in on this. And all the bots and trolls would go, take him down, Jack, take him down. And he took my Twitter down, my bill of Twitter. When morning hit, it was worldwide news, the #1 story in the world, that a company, not a person, lost their Twitter account, right? So it accomplished what I wanted. So now I'm going on, but let me tell you this. All the media, including Salem Media, where all their hosts, remember back then, I couldn't go on to talk about, they're all going, Mike Lindell lost 3 more retailers today. Let's all support him and buy pillows. But I couldn't go on there to tell them why I lost why they're attacking me. You understand that? I couldn't go on to say why they're attacking me. So what would I rather lose? My money or my voice? I'll take my money anytime. They can attack me all they want. I can't lose my voice. So anyway, I go on Newsmax. And I'm landing at this airport in my plane, and my assistant, she had texted me, you get down to where I didn't have a signal, and it said the text was, Mike, whatever you do when you go on Newsmax, don't talk about the machines. Okay? Well, I didn't get the memo, okay? and I went on Newsmax. And I get on there, and they got this guy, and there's a gal and a guy, you've all seen the clip, and they go, if you don't, look it up. It says, Mike, you lost your Twitter account. Boy, cancel culture. And I go, did you hear about Dominion? And I'm starting, and the guy, he went ballistic, and he's going, mute me. Mike, we're not talking about machines here. And he got a list. We here at Newsmax do not believe there was any election crime. Blah, blah. He's trying to read this, and they muted me. Then I come back on, and he sets it down, and he goes, so Mike, and he started asking me another question about the Twitter. I go, did you hear about Dominion in China, whatever? And he goes, because I'm not going to listen, right? I go, why am I not telling you why they took my Twitter? So he rips his microphone off and leaves the stage, everybody. Does everyone remember seeing that? You know why you're seeing it? Because it was the #1 story in the world that day. But you see what I'm saying is, it kept the news. It kept me in the news of telling everybody, the world, we have evidence. It's the cyber attack beyond anything you've ever seen. China's taken our country. And when I say that, we all know CCP, the Uniparty, the deep state globalists. I knew that then because we had this evidence that the only explanation was these computers. So everybody, they attacked. Now, on February 4th, when Smartmatic sued Fox News, that started lawfare. You all know that. But there was something that was coming out the very next day, and that was absolute proof. Now, we put that movie together in 7 days. And I'm telling you, you know what? Everyone asked me, Mike, was there every time you were afraid during this whole time? Only once, and that was 10 days before the impeachment trials. Remember that? That was impeachment trials in early February of 2021. And I'm sitting there, and I'm not able to, nobody's listening. I'm losing everything. They're attacking me, losing box stores. And then I heard, I imagine those impeachment trials that we would all be able to go on there. I'd be able to go on with the evidence just like the OJ trial, right? And we'd all see the evidence, and we'd get our country back, and we'd get this apology, whoever did it, whatever it was. Well, then I got a call from one of my senator friends. And he said, Mike, they're not going to let evidence be shown. And he goes, and I'm going, and now I flushed down because now I'm going, okay, here's a guy running around the White House, said martial law, looks like a secret agent, and you just had January 6th. And all I could think of is, it wasn't even so much what they're going to do to me, but it was like, it's over, right? And and I'm going to God, please, God, how can I be handed this, but nothing to do with it?
Guys,
I prayed that day. Thank you. But I prayed that day, and I got down on my knees, and I said, God, how can we be given this? You know, give us grace. I said, we need something right now. And it was like right away, because we couldn't communicate this to the world, this evidence that I had. It's not what I had thought was going to happen. We'd be able to put it out there. And it was like right away, do a movie. Where I'm going, I could do a movie in 7 days? And I wanted it to be out, you know, in my head it was doing, and it's got to be out by that Friday. The impeachment trials were the following Tuesday. And they were all about that there's no evidence, remember? And so by a miracle, we put that movie together in 6 days. Patrick, you were there?
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody. I didn't know all the people that came for that movie. I had never met them. I didn't know Patrick, Matt DePerno. This was a miracle that this was put together and done in 7 days. Actually, I think it was 6 days, actually. But anyway, on February 5th, when we launched Absolute Proof by 9 a.m., and I could tell you the backstory as I'm driving from Brandon's house. First time I had met him, too. And we made this movie, and we only had one copy of it. And I remember all the security had left except for one guy. And we had to have this done by 9 a.m. because it was going to be shown. And so he's piecing it together, giving me this drive I had to take out of there. And I remember I had to go to out of my hotel, and I said, keep the security guy here to protect that copy. I remember heading to my hotel, and I get there, and it's like, you know what, I'm not even going to go into that, but there was something happened there, and I got pulled over, and I thought it was a bad guy behind me. And I mean, I'm going like this, and he's following like this, and it's the middle of the night. We're the only two on the road, and here I'm just going to hit the gas to Florida, and to take off, and he turns on his lights. It's a cop, and he goes, Mike Lindell, he says, are you done with the movie? And we hadn't even told anyone. He had heard as a neighbor. And I go, yeah, we're done. And I said, I got to get to my home. He gave me a police escort there and all the way back. I was up there. But anyway, so this comes out the next morning. And I think you all need to know this. This launched at 9 a.m. the next morning, all the way up to February 4th. I was attacked every day from morning till night by media. Every single day. That's all I did for 18 hours a day. I'd let them call me at midnight. I don't have a PR person. It was just me getting on the phone, talking to the New York Times and CNN, Politico, Huffington Post, the Daily Beast, the Daily Mail, all of them just attacking me relentlessly. They're writing their articles, and I go, yes, I lost 3 more regions. I would spread out the disaster so that I could keep it in the news. Spread out the disaster as my company just, well, when this movie fell on February 5th at 9 a.m. and it went live to the world, I'll tell you what, you talk about going fox on someone, which I mean silent. Every media person in the world, it went completely silent. Google blocked it. You couldn't Google my name. You couldn't Google Absolute Proof. You couldn't Google nothing. They took over Google. They took over my Wikipedia. You couldn't even do anything. Okay? You could not do anything. You talk about silencing someone. But you know what? People were so longing for the truth that 150 million people seen that movie in 4 days. In 4 days. And that was all of you sharing it. It was 2 hours long. And then YouTube made a big mistake. They forgot to take it down for 2 hours. And it was too late then that it got out. But they broke YouTube. They took that out. They took it down on Vimeo. We broke other platforms because there were so many people hitting it. And then one platform, by the grace of God, stayed up so everybody could watch, right? But here's the point I'm getting at. You talk about communication. There's a point to all this. So the point I'm getting at, from February 5th on, every single journalist in this country, I have hundreds of them. Everyone's got my cell phone number. Every single one. And and went by. No one. I would call them up, they wouldn't answer. Text them, I get no text. Silence. 17 days went by, everybody. And that scared me. I'm going, you could have all the evidence in the world. They want to silence someone, they can just take you out of the loop. And that scared me. I'm going, what? How do we ever get anything back? How do we ever get this out there now? So I had to get back in the news again to be able to spread the word. So I called up Swin. He worked for the Daily Beast back then. And I go, Swin. I go, at least Swin, him and we've argued so many times, I became kind of indirectly with all these, I call them the left media, right? One guy that works for the Daily Beast now, I made him read my whole book. I usually do that. I read my whole book and I witnessed to him for 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon about Jesus one day, hoping to turn him. I said, what went wrong with you? His name is Zach. Because he was born in a Christian family or whatever, and then he got in college and they just, brainwashed him, zapped him, Well, anyway, I called up Swin. I said, Swin, Dominion hasn't sued me. Why don't you go ask them why they haven't sued me? And he goes, I go, be a real journalist and go do some work once instead of being lazy and just bad, attacking me every day. Go ask them once. Give them some account. Why aren't you suing Mike Lindell? Because I'm thinking they're not suing me because I got all the evidence, right? And if they sue me, I can show all that. So he goes over to Dominion. Ding, 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 ding. Goes over there. Hey, Dominion, how come you're not suing Mike Lindell? Oh, we're going to sue him. Yeah, we're going to sue him. So Swin calls me back. He goes, yep, they're going to sue you. I go, well, why don't you do a story about it? So he did. He puts out, Dominion's going to sue Mike Lindell, blah, blah, blah. I'm waiting, and 3 days go by. I call up Swin. I go, Swin, you better get over there to Dominion and tell them chop, chop, or you're going to be known as fake news. True story. So he goes over and he tells Dominion that day. The next morning, Dominion sues not just me, but they sued MyPillow, an employee-owned company, and they attacked them. And that one, now, that wasn't in my thought. I'm going, they've done nothing, and you're destroying them, their families. And so they come out with this, but it worked, though. They started calling me. Now, I had made a movie, Absolute Proof, but I had made a short half-hour version. I want to all hear this because to see what we're up against in our communications. So I had made a half-hour version because I knew what was going to happen, right? The first gal that called up, I think her name was Kathy. I think she's for the New York Times. I can't remember. But she was the first one to call, 6:30 in the morning. I figured they'd call earlier than that. If they don't care when they call me. I've told them, call me anytime because I needed to get the word out, right? So he called me out and go, Mike, Dominion sued you. Might have been a little later because I don't know how but they by 6:37. So anyway, yeah, that's Central Time. So it was like 7 o'clock. She goes, Mike, Dominion sued you. Dominion sued you. I go, Kathy, you don't call, you don't write. I said, did you watch Absolute Proof? No, I did, but Dominion sued you. I go, you didn't watch, I said, all the things you attacked me for all the way up until February 4th, and I told you all your answers would be on February 5th. You didn't watch what I had for proof there? She goes, no, but Dominion sued you. She wants to write an article. You go back. I made a short version for you, Kathy. You go back and you watch this half-hour version of Absolute Proof, or you can lose my number. You're never going to get an attack story again. And she goes, but. I said, no, you're the first one that called me, and I'm sure every other of them did this. Every other one of these rotten journalists like you did the same thing. So she went and she watched it. Now, I'm telling you, not one of them. This went on all morning where I had to send them over to watch Absolute Proof, the half-hour version, and they would come back to me, and then they do their hit job, and I was able to get the word out again. Yes, I lost 6 more retailers. Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Dominion sued me and my company for $8 billion or whatever it was. But did you hear about, I'm answering them, did you hear about China? Did you hear about our machines? Did you hear about we're going to lose our country? Don't you journalists care? But it was able to get it out through all the garbage, where all you heard. Now, the last caller, it was like 1 in the afternoon, my favorite. Her name is Susie, and she's from, I believe, the Washington Post. It's been so long now, I've told the story a million times. Where's she supposed? She calls me up, and and she talks over me. She's a little snot, and she goes, and she sits there, and she is Asian, and she calls up, and she goes, Mike, Dominion sue you. And I go, Susie, did you watch Absolute Proof? No, but Dominion sue you. And she's just, and her and I have had, and I go, Susie, you're going to go watch this like everybody else had to. She goes, no, I got to get this report. I go, you're going to lose my number, and you'd be the only reporter in the United States, but for that matter around the world, that I don't take their call. She goes, I said, go watch it right now. It's 28 minutes long. So finally she goes, okay. So she goes and watches it, right? But I'm timing her. It's like 14 minutes, and she calls me back. She called me back, and she goes, I go, Susie called me back. I go, Susie, did you watch it? Yeah, I watched it. What? No, Dominion Susie. And I go, Susie, what was in it? Tell me what was in it. I don't know. She goes, Sidney Powell, whatever. And I go, wrong. She wasn't in it. Now you got to go watch the long version, Susie. It's 2 hours long. So she had to go watch 2-hour movie, right?
So,
and let me finish. So after that, the reason I'm telling you this story, right? That took I was able to use those lawsuits for only about 4 or 5 days. But that stretch from February 5th, that silence, where I'm sitting there, and you've all felt it that have had evidence now, or had a story, or you come up to me, I have stuff from my county, I have stuff here, I have a lawsuit, I have thing going on here in my backyard. Mike, can you get it out there? Can we get it out there? Somebody needs to hear me. That's how I felt. And I felt so alone there that I've got all this and I couldn't get it out. So I said, well, how do you solve that? Because I was blocked on every network, including the Salem Medias and the Newsmaxes. Stuff I expected to have me on and tell the world. But so you know what I said is I got to build a platform. I got to build my own platform.
Guys, you know how authentic Mike is. He's just laying his heart out for everybody here, guys.
I'm going to tell you, that's why I built Frank's Speech and Lindell TV to get the word out to all of you.
And Mike, this is why I feel guilty coming out and putting my time. There's a whole train system running in the back there. But guys, the story is compelling, and I think a lot of us folks in the audience here feel the same way when our voices are silenced. And what we're doing here with the Election Crime Bureau, what we're doing with the plan, is providing you with a way to amplify those voices and get your words out there, get your stories out there, like Mike has sacrificially invested to make sure that he can get his word out. So guys, this is what it's all about. This is what you're all going to see on the plan. And now I think the next person we're going to have talk is about Frank's Speech and how to get that word out to as many people as possible.
Well, this is the The Frank's Speech will be part. Let's give Patrick the biggest hand. He put this all together.
Thanks.